So here's a new quantum memoir page. This is based on inspiration that I received from a few different people. A conversation that I had with Interstellar Lily on Instagram. She referred me to Kamala Devi and some kind of sacral energy, sexual energy, radical honesty. That was another thing that's come up for me lately. And then yesterday I watched a YouTube video from Aaron. I don't know what his last name is, but I'll tag him in this post. And he was talking about some of the weird things that he does. And it got me thinking because, it's all relative. A lot of his videos that he shares, some people might think are weird, but this one was especially weird, is from the point of view that he was coming from, that these are things that he's been doing for a long time, but he wouldn't necessarily share with somebody publicly. They weren't the content that he normally puts on his YouTube video because it's weird, right? So I recognize that I have all of these weird, eccentric nuances about me that, you may only notice if you're actually hanging out with me in person. So I curb them when I'm, sharing something on social media, even though it seems like I might be really just putting myself out there. There's still a lot that is hidden, secret. So this page, through watching Aaron's video, talking to Interstellar Lily, and then this this class that I'm taking, this online class called I can't even say the word, Pussy Portal, trying to teach you to have ownership of your feminine energy for women. So I'm doing that with two of my friends. We're taking the class online together. So it's got me thinking that although I wanted to do Tantra, I wanted to do sexuality, I'm just not ready yet. There's still something that is clammed up in me that prevents me from freely sharing my voice and my face. Although, somewhat I can share, my thoughts on the quantum memoir, there's still a lot of reservation in me. And it's not because I am necessarily consciously ashamed of what I'm doing or talking about or my imperfections, but there's this subconscious part of me that has still kind of got everything caged. So this page, from the people that I mentioned, this page has been inspired from them. And I'm going to do it on transparency. That's my purpose. So this is going to be a new way for me to share a quantum memoir, because I do want to get my voice. I want to practice using my voice, vocalizing the ponderings that I'm doing and my opinions, so that I can better understand from hearing myself talk and seeing the engagement that I have with other people, so I can kind of take the next step from what I've been doing with my writing. Most of the time I start with purpose. This was an observation that I made. The reason I'm starting this purpose is because I made an observation. And that observation is that I'm going to put radically honest. I'm not radically honest. I want to be radically honest. I'm working towards radical honesty. So I'm going to write that here. This is my observation. That is creating the purpose of this page. Radical honesty. And now you get to see the process of the actual art. And I feel like this should be in red. I pick colors based on the feeling that the words create, or the feeling that I want to now have the words create. And to me, I just use them in a basic way of how the chakras line up with colors. Not everybody sees the chakra colors, in the same way, but there is a basic, overview of what each chakra represents in a color. So radical honesty. That is my observation that's going to support my purpose. And my purpose is transparency. First, I'm not very good at spelling. So sometimes if I'm thinking about it or I really care about spelling the word right, I will make sure that I double check the spelling before writing it. Other times I'm in a groove and I don't even realize that I made a mistake in spelling, like I'm dyslexic. And then other times I don't know the spelling properly, so I just spell it wrong because I don't even know that it's wrong. But I don't really care. I don't really care that it's spelled wrong because it's not something that I'm submitting to a teacher to be graded. It's not something that I'm proposing to get a job. It is my art, my creation, my journal, my quantum memoir. So I could do it however I want. And that's what I urge for you to do. So with transparency, I'm thinking, what is the etymology of this word? This is how I'm showing you exactly how I would go through and do a quantum memoir. So over here in the distance where I keep reaching my arm, I have my iPad out. And I'm looking at the etymology of transparent. And it looks like show light through, across, beyond, and through. Come in sight, appear, submit, obey. Easily seen. Visually, what I was imagining was a window. But the lines in the window will mark out my words, so visually I see a window when I think of transparency. Another way that I could view that would be like I'm looking for symbolism. What kind of symbolism will help me imagine transparency? Show light through. So another thing that I do when I want to try to find a visual, if something doesn't come to my mind, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put visuals, symbolism into my mind. So if something doesn't come up for me immediately, then I will Google it and look for it so that in the future I do have a visual. I see what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make this like an orb, a sphere, and make it look like the word transparent is inside of it. And if I was writing on my left hand side of the page, you can see that my handwriting is really just like garbled up. You can't really, it's not legible. But when I do this over here, the idea of the quantum memoir is to be very specific and intentional. So let's see how that works. And I'm going to make this orange. So I have my colors over here. I'm going to get a few of those colors out so that you can see how I'm going to add the depth to this. And I'm going to go with the mid-tone around the outside. And then I suppose we can discuss, what does transparency mean? Why is this my purpose? Usually I would explain that in my ponderings. I would explain why I chose it. But I've kind of already done that in the aspect that this is inspired by a few different people. I can see I'm having a hard time talking and coloring. And I like redrawing the circles, even though, I've already traced my little cap to make the circles perfectly in the first place. But there's supposed to be some sort of subconscious power in the sacred geometry shape, or any of the sacred geometry shapes, but the fruit of life, that's what this one is. So viewing it, drawing it on the regular is supposed to be good for your brain in some way. I have no idea the validity of that, other than the fact that I know that when I do it, it's very meditative and it feels good. So, if it feels good, I'm gonna keep doing it. If it didn't feel right, true, honest, then I would stop doing it. So you can see that we're starting to get a little bit of depth created in the sphere. And it's with the sacral chakra energy, which Interstellar Lily, you know, she referred to me, the woman that talks about sacral energy, sexual healing, sexual empowerment, that sort of thing. And then there's yellow in there too. See, there's yellow right here in the center. That is my solar plexus, being confident to be transparent and share what it is that I'm going through. And I think that I've been, I don't know, like I would say that I've been a pretty private person. I've had lots of people in my lifetime tell me that still waters run deep, but they can't quite figure out like how I feel or think about them. So, although I think that I might be being truthful and honest and direct, evidently my subconscious is still protecting me in some way by not speaking out and not standing up for myself as much as I would actually like to. So I figure by doing this purpose, I'll be able to come to some sort of conclusion, find out where I might still be getting triggered, where I feel inhibited. Hopefully that will come out in this page. So my purpose is to be transparent. And this doesn't mean that I'm going to tell you everything about my life, you know, all of the good, all of the bad, or anything like that. It just means that I recognize that there's nothing that I say or do that could be used against me, because I am an honest person. I'm doing the best that I can with what I have. I am not perfect. I'm not claiming to be perfect. I'm just claiming to care about the future. So I want to do everything I can that's in my power to make it the best. Not just for myself, but for other people as well. So that is my purpose, is to be transparent. And it's based on the observation of radical honesty and connection. You know, I connected with Interstellar Lily. I connected with Aaron on YouTube, even though he has no idea who I am. The same thing with the Devi lady that talks about sacral energy. You know, I connected with her. These are all people that are being honest, radically honest about their lives, and the information that they've shared is helping me. So hopefully the information that I'm sharing will help you. So let's see where this goes. Okay, so I'm taking an online class with a couple of my friends. It's like a mini course. And it's about the Pussy Portal Challenge. Hashtag Pussy Portal Challenge. And the idea is for you to reclaim your name of your body parts and the connection that you have with your body parts, empowering them. Don't let other people tell you, you know, what is right or wrong, that, you know, you listen to your body, etc., etc. And we've only had, you know, there's been one day in the class, and it was about naming your vagina. I think it was specifically the vagina. And my two friends, they, you know, Krista, she actually posted hers. I'll tag her in this post. So if anybody else wants to check it out, you know, see what she had to say about the first challenge. But I'm not going to share with you what their names were. I'm going to share with you what I came up with. So I thought, well, instead of using my mind to come up with the name, I should ask my body what the name of it is. And immediately Whispering Eye came up for me. And if you know me, I love Paul Rudd movies, and it's a reference in his movie that he's in called Role Models. And whether or not it was actually used in the Renaissance for poetry, I don't know, but it's called The Whispering Eye. So the challenge was to come up with the name for your vagina, and then the other thing that we were supposed to do is come up with an affirmation that would reclaim the power of, you know, our vagina. And so for me, since it was called Whispering Eye, or she is called Whispering Eye, I figured I will listen to my Whispering Eye. As you know, I'm 44 years old, and I don't think I've listened to my body enough. It's been telling me things all along, not just my vagina, all of my body parts. You know, I've had surgery on my finger, you know, just things that have gone wrong and gone broken, and because I didn't pay enough attention in the forefront. So I'm going to start listening, specifically listening to my Whispering Eye. That is what I'm going to put in the body sphere. So now you guys kind of have an understanding of how I come up with the things that go in my sphere. Although my purpose is transparency, everything else kind of fills in on what's actually going on with me in my life at that moment. You know, a week from now, something else would probably come up for the body sphere. This is not a hard answer, it's just what's coming up right now. So I'm gonna write the Whispering Eye. I'm gonna write my affirmation and the name in here. That's my vagina, the Whispering Eye. In case that wasn't clear, that's what this whole page is about being radically honest and clear. I am going to call my vagina Whispering Eye. My affirmation is I will listen to my Whispering Eye. I will listen to all of my body, not just my physical body, but my astral and etheric and all of these other bodies that I'm not really that clear on, but energetically I can sort of experience them. So I'm going to make sure that I start slowing down and listening to that. And actually, the post that I had just made, I said something about that I was rushing and I was hurrying and that I needed to slow down. What I'm seeing right now is I know that I've already wrote slow down right here in one of my other pages recently because I was rushing. Instead of writing slow down, I'm going to put why rush for my refine. Why rush? I don't know if there's a time that you should ever rush. But I know that when you do rush, or when I do rush, I have a tendency to make mistakes. So I'm going to make sure that I am aware of the fact when I am tripping up, I'm making mistakes, I'm talking really fast, I'm not being clear, I'm not slowing down and pausing enough to see what the other person might be saying or experiencing or projecting. And this should help me have transparency, to help me be honest with people, so that I'm not just railroading my way through something. I can actually see what the whole experience is telling me, not just my own thoughts or body. So what color? Oh, you know what? I've started using pink recently. I never used pink. I always had just the 7 chakra colors, the primary colors, but I think that I should use pink for the Whispering Eye. And I plan on drawing a vagina right there, but I'm gonna have to Google it, because even though I'm a woman and I have one and I have seen it, I can't draw from memory what it would actually look like. So this will be a good visualization for me to have in my mind, that when I'm listening to my Whispering Eye, when I'm speaking to my Whispering Eye, I have a mental picture in my mind that I can imagine what she looks like. And it might not be a literal interpretation. It might be just an artistic one, or I don't want to use the word loosely tied one, but like it might be a loose interpretation of one. But somehow I'm going to put a symbol of whispering eye right there. And I'll make sure that it's Instagram approved. So, body sphere, whispering eye, I will listen. And the hashtag for this is Pussy Portal Challenge. If you want to go check it out, it's just like little short emails that you get every day. And they're little, you know, basically ponderings or ideas that you can do to kind of reclaim your feminine energy. Today's day 2. I haven't checked the email yet because I've been editing this video, but I will check it out soon enough. And then in that case, I might add some more information down here. I suppose that I should go ahead and get my intention in there. I didn't get a chance to actually like really narrow down and be clear on what my intention is as to why I'm doing this page. I've been coming up with these other things. So now I feel like in order to really successfully make sure that I'm going to get the most out of focusing on transparency and being honest and observing my subconscious triggers that are happening that's preventing me from being honest, or not honest, not that I'm dishonest, but that radically honest, that I'm not holding back because of any false beliefs that I might have. I think that I'm going to have a much better success at clarifying this page if I go ahead and put my intention. So the intention for this is, let's think on this a moment. Transparent. The notes that I had put yesterday, reveal ourselves, take the risk to reveal ourselves. That oftentimes we don't reveal all of ourselves or our true self. We put on a facade and put that forward, that mask forward. And that's because we don't want to take the risk that someone will make a judgment or opinion. And this is my personal opinion. I'm not saying this is the truth for everybody, but that someone will have a judgment or opinion against what I'm revealing about myself. And what I've found over the last 2 years is nobody really cares. It's just in my mind that I think that it matters. So as I've been practicing this, I'm experiencing more and more freedom to be able to share more and more and be transparent. And I enjoy when other people are transparent, when they are honest about what their lives are, even though they're unconventional, outside of the box. You know, they might get judged. They're still doing it, and empowers me to want to do the same. So the intention would be something about empowering myself to take the risk to reveal myself. So reveal that I am, so I'm gonna accept the risk, because to me, risk isn't bad. I think that maybe in the society, I have the idea that people think that risk is bad and you shouldn't do it. But to me, risk is opportunity, it's potential. So I'm going to accept the risk to reveal myself. That's what I'm going to do. And I did this the other day. I turned this chakra sphere into a round thought bubble. I usually make square thought bubbles around my artwork, but I took a risk. I used a circle as my thought bubble or speech bubble. So I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna put okay, so here's an interesting thing. Here's some transparency. Sometimes I refer to myself as me. Sometimes I refer to myself as I. Sometimes I refer to myself as Molly. In this case, I'm going to say me, because me is more than just Molly. Molly's, again, like a name, you know, I named my vagina. I named myself Molly. I'm reclaiming or claiming an aspect of me that is new and empowered. So Molly is just one aspect of me. There's more layers to that. You know, my government name is Cheryl. So for me, it's kind of like more of those personas, masks, archetypes. That's probably the best word to use. Me is multiple archetypes. So that might be something that would be weird or obscure to a lot of people, but to me it seems quite normal. So this is my intention. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my very nice bright yellow, because I feel like this is going to have to be a confidence thing. I need solar plexus energy. I need confidence to be able to prevent being, you know, backstepped, to slide back into some sort of victim mentality, or care that somebody else has an opinion about me that doesn't suit me. So I'm going to go ahead and use yellow. And then another thing that I want to mention as I draw this outline is that whatever I write on this page, I've said it lots of times, but I've never actually, I've written it lots of times in my ponderings, but I've never actually said it out loud, I don't think, which is that the only thing I ever write on this page, on this side of the book, in the Quantum Memoir, in the Fruit of Life shape, is positive or at least neutral, that it's bringing about something positive. If I'm having a depression or a negative experience, something I want to bitch about or complain about, I don't actually write it on here unless I can make it positive or neutral. I try not to put anything negative here. This is like a charm. This is power that I'm putting out into the universe, and I want to make sure that the energy and the thoughts and the feelings that I'm putting out into the universe are ones that I want to get back, and I don't want negative ones back. So thus I keep them positive, or attempt to keep them positive. And I'm a huge fan of orange. You'll see that. So I'm gonna write me in orange. This is very intentional. This is like a charm that I'm putting out into the world. So by adding color to it and taking my time and going slow and going ahead and adding doodles if I have the time or if I'm inspired, I feel like that just puts a little bit more magic into it. So I accept the risk to reveal myself. And I want to thank again, Interstellar Lily, Kamala Devi, Aaron, still don't know his last name, my friend Krista and Juliet, and also Sarah. She had recently done a quantum memoir. Some of the conversations that I had with her have brought this about, you know, for me to realize that she's thanking me for being honest and sharing my vulnerability with the world, and that means something to her. So I appreciate that, and that's why I'm doing this page, is to recognize that is a powerful thing to do for yourself. And then in that, it could also be something that will be inspirational or amusing for somebody else. So now let's Google some vaginas and see about drawing that whispering eye.